Om Akhandamandalakaram Vyaptam Ved Characharam Tatparam Darsidam Ved Tasmi Sri Guru Namaha Ajnanatimrandasya Jnananjanam Shalakaya Chakshurumilitam Ved Tasmi Sri Guru Namaha Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Parabrahm Tasmi Sri Guru. Today, can you hear me at the back, or the rain is spoiling spot? You can? Okay, good. So, yesterday we had a lovely satsang. Only yesterday, right? Seems so far off. So, we had a nice discussion, satsang, on the meaning of yoga and Ashtanga yoga and things, so on and so forth. Basically, it was, I would say, theoretical. The theory of what meditation is and what, not meditation, but yoga is, and Yoga Sutras of Patanjali and so on and so forth. So today, being the last day here, last day for me and for you in this place, not the last day. Being that, we are, I want to give you something which you can practice, which is practical, because it's like somebody came, talked and went home. And you went home and forgot all about it. I forgot all about it. And that's the end of it. Then you wait again for the next satsang. Instead of that, I thought, it's a practical world now. I thought I'll leave something with you, which if you are willing to practice, you can practice regularly. If you are practicing something else, you can add that, or you can practice this if you are practicing nothing at all, but something needs to be done. There's no point in just discussing the theory. Something needs to be done, at least for 15 minutes to half an hour every day. I know there are many friends of ours who have studied various methods of meditation from me and who claim to be old friends who have not meditated for 10 minutes every day. I know. I think the new ones may pick up, hopefully. Because here the proof of the pudding is in the eating it, not in the ornamentations and theories and so on. So, first let me start with something which gives a clue as to what we are trying to connect with. Well, we meditate, but what are we trying to connect with? So, I'm going to give you a little clue on that, if you don't know already. If you had attended the satsang yesterday noon at her house, you probably know what we are trying to connect with. But I'm going to look at it in a little different way today. Now, please listen to me. From the side you can listen to the rain, but just visualize, imagine somebody on the street. You're standing on the street somewhere and looking at the footpath, at the pavement, and just below the pavement on the main street, you see somebody walking slowly along. Very old and looking very weak, with a bundle of clothes on his shoulders. You think that he's some kind of a beggar, and he looks so weak, he's kind of breathing hard and trudging along very slowly, and you think next minute this guy might fall down and die. That's the situation. Now imagine a situation where a car or a bus comes so close to him, suddenly the driver realizes, oh, there's a man here. And then he brakes with all the screeching and the horn and the whole thing, which happens when you brake. I bet 9 times out of 10, This poor man who you thought couldn't move another inch, he may fall down and die, might have cleared all long jump records if you saw the bus coming. Now the question is, how did he do it? Somebody who, looking at from outside, you think cannot move another 2 steps, looks so weak and looks so vulnerable. What happened to him when he suddenly faced the danger of a car screeching and stopping before him? How did he clear the long jump record? Maybe this end of the road to the other. What happened? Well, there are many ways of looking. One is that suddenly faced with the accident, he jumped. How? Where did the energy come from? You would have thought he was going to die. The other medical or biological explanations that in the brain there is a section of the brain called the limbic system inside. Not here, inside. Now the limbic system is there to alert you and to make you react when there is a sudden threat to your life. It's built in. So the limbic system set into action and got him out. But how did he get energy to do that? Now again there is a biological explanation, which is that suddenly a big amount of adrenaline was pumped into his system, with the switch being in the limbic system, and the adrenaline being something that gives you energy temporarily at least, made him jump. Now these are chemical biological explanations. I'm going to the yogic explanation or the Vedantic explanation, if you want to describe it that way. The fact is, this man whose thought process, because of his past experiences till now, made him think that, well, I'm old, I'm weak, I can't move, I'm going to fall down and die, and so on, which is constantly going on in his mind. At that particular time of danger, when the limbic system set things into operation, which is our old brain, the old reptilian brain that we still have, what happened was he had no time to think. He had no time to think and condition himself that he cannot do it. Watch carefully. Thought is a powerful weapon, okay? Agreed. But it can be limiting and it can be unconditioning, both. In this case, in his normal mode of existence, normal mode of thinking, he puts 2 and 2 together very logically. I was sick in the hospital 6 months ago. I'm weak in my legs, I can't jump, and so on. In that particular moment when the switch was on, he didn't have time to think and condition himself to say that I cannot do it. So we are saying that thought can condition yourself and say that you can't do something. Thought can also decondition and say, yes, I can do it. Now, in that, I'm not saying you shouldn't think, okay, you should. Don't put your thinking faculties in cold storage. Very dangerous, especially when there are gurus roaming around. And all our energy is that which is beyond thought. So here, for a split second to protect the body, there was an energy that comes from beyond ordinary thought. It just says jump and jump. Now the yogis say that this energy, which accidentally was triggered off in this case, can be tapped systematically and utilized for your life. 1, to uncondition your mind and make it more expansive. And 2, to have access to infinite modes of energy. So, it's competing with it. Wait for 2 minutes. Now, that energy or that consciousness which acts when you are unconditioned by your thought, which is I'm this body, I cannot do this, I'm a man, I'm a woman, and so on, or I'm a child, or I'm an old person. If that thought can be unconditioned, at least set at rest for a while, then it's possible to access the source of all energy that's in us, which fortunately happens to be a blissful energy and not a painful energy. So, you can do nothing about the rain, right? As you can do nothing much about happiness or sorrow. From ancient times, for thousands of years, people in the East and the West, especially in the East, because in the East people were more concerned with going into the inside things rather than the outside. So they have discovered that there is this essence of all energy and unconditioned consciousness and bliss, which is in all of us in the form of a little spark inside our being, in the core of our being. The prerequisite for touching that is that you decondition yourself from thinking that I am limited. I am this body, I cannot do this, I cannot do that. So that deconditioning process on one side is philosophical, and on the other is practical. Practical ways of how to keep your limiting thoughts in abeyance, at least for a while, and gradually increase the timing of that, so that you are most of the time in that unconditioned, blissful, super energy state. So this is the whole practice of sadhana, which we call sadhana. It's how to zero in, how to go into the essence of this being, which is not anywhere outside but right inside us. And equally for all, whether we have discovered it or not. That's a different matter. Now, if we feel that there has to be a practical way of doing it, today's world, you cannot go into a cave and sit somewhere. It's not going to work. We wanted to go somewhere, but I must tell you this very interesting thing. When I was young and I was in Rishikesh, in the foothills of the Himalaya, there was this man who came to me and said, I'm fed up of Rishikesh. I said, why? But I have just come here. He said, no, I'm fed up. There's too many ashrams, and too many sadhus, and too many people, and too many pilgrims, and too much noise. I said, so what are you going to do? I was sitting near the river, near the Ganga. I said, I thought it was better than Delhi. He said, yeah, but I don't like it. I'm a man who loves solitude. So I said, oh, where are you going? He said, near Lakshman Jhula, I heard there's a cave. So I'll go there and sit and meditate. I said, okay, God be with you. But come back and tell me if something happened. So I was also, I had not met Babaji then, my master Babaji. So I said, okay. So he went. And then 3 days later, I was sitting on the banks of the Ganga. I saw him back walking around. I said, hey, what happened? He said, what shall I tell you? I went there and sat in the cave. 2 days I sat. It was very nice. Then, of course, there were mosquitoes. I said, okay. And then what happened? And then one day I thought I was in deep meditation, and then I opened my eyes. And there was an extraterrestrial standing in front of me. I said, wow, this is great. And did he teach you anything? He said, hey, just stop, let me explain. I said, okay. He said, it was not an extraterrestrial. It was a man from the municipality who had come to spray for mosquitoes. This is our situation. So don't ever think you can go to the caves and sit down. It doesn't work. However, if you can make your own house, one room in your house, into your own private cave, in summer you can put on the AC, and in winter you can cover yourself with a blanket. So you have your own cave. Nobody is going to spray, and nobody is going to come and disturb you, and nobody is going to come and say, oh, you should join this ashram and become a member and so on. You're free. So if you find a place like that, then you can start your practice.